Alibad catches the worms. So 7. Good morning, Wilbur. Good morning, Africa Carota. Gaetano Bado Zenyo. Pade, good morning. Yeah, JK, good morning. Well, we are ambuza ku Mark to Zio. Hiyo. Inge moroke zitambuze emirambo mufiri. Ne moroka ya mwenye msingo okwagala hiyo Forester. Nenga mwasuze mutya. Mwasuze mutya. Salmina, liro olinyo.
It's the queen of voices in high definition. Take a picture of you, 3 big glasses, make it animation. Baby girl, we rock with me. Keep you by my side, you were stuck with me. Girl, it's what I feel inside when you're by my side. When you touch
Cat tinting is not legal, but there is no regulation actually about against it in Uganda. So there is no regulation that has never been brought forward that stops us from tinting the cars. But it should not be legal. Like, why are you tinting? Why are you hiding? So there will come a regulation. But good morning, Ronald. Good morning, Jude. Kansubire muri stade nyo unakolwa lelo. So today we are talking selfishness versus selflessness. Where do you draw the line? And where are you supposed to be? And is it a noble thing for you to try and be selfless? Or why it's okay for someone to actually be selfish? What's your take on that? So what is selflessness? What is selfishness? When I get your jacket. Where do you draw the line? How do you know that now you're going down the wrong path, then you're going right down the right path, and are you supposed to be in the middle, or the middle that doesn't exist? How do you define those two things? And if someone has grown up in an environment where all they see around is people being selfish, is it just right for them to take on being selfishness, take on being selfish? Or if someone has grown up in an environment where people are selfless, we have had those things. Mugenda ku mikolo, and then you hear everyone that comes to give a speech, they say, Tata waba na abana yaberanga bwati, mama waba na abana yaberanga bwati, bana ye mumukope, and then majority of the time when we hear speeches like that, we see with speeches where someone has been selfless. It's very rare to hear a speech where someone is talking about another party and they are talking about how they were selfish. That's a very, very rare thing. So what examples should we take as people, and why? Yeah, so that's what we're talking about today. Selfishness versus selflessness. Is it a thing? Do you think selflessness gets us anywhere, or should we just like if you get into a situation where you can either be selfless or selfish, what should you take? Katinze ninze definition yamu. What is selfishness what is selflessness. Wait, Osarababa. Jeke chenabadde nkugamba kansemberere nnuwe eno nabo bakyekyo. Eno yeeyo, eno yeeyo. Waliwo nuwe efaananira ddala eyo naye nga terimu valvematic. Eyo eya valvematic. Morning, Abi. We are defining selflessness, we are defining selfishness. Where should one be using the other? Nenga yena mukadde mumulengera bw'abaala ku bbala. Hey, good morning, Eddie. How is that place? Indeed, Abel, it's a little brighter than yesterday. It seems like it won't even rain like it did yesterday. Actually, Jeko jirabe ne moroka efaanana eyo naye si ya valvematic okitegeera. So kati awo enjawulo weeri eyo si ya valvematic kati ate eri eyiyo ya valvematic jeki. Ennaku zidduka ne November tugenda mumalako. November atambudde. Omwana wuyo ali fiti, mumulengera kagaali mabega wa loole oyo aba fiti. But someone is riding a bicycle, you see. Very dangerous. You should never try that. You should not be next to it. You should be riding at a place where there is no tracks. Huh? No, you don't ride next to anything. You just ride in a place where it's free. It's only bicycles. Next to? Police? No problem. You can ride the bike next to a police. Good morning, Hashim. But you don't ride your bike next to a truck, next to a motorcycle, next to a car, or next to anything that is moving that is not a bike. The only thing you can ride next to should be either another bicycle or the police or people. Yes, mwasuze mutya olunaku olwaleero. Twogere ku selfless. Let's talk about selfishness. A week feels like 3 days. I know. You know, Jackie, when you grow, things start moving too fast. When you grow, things start moving too fast. And you know, days are even faster when you have stuff to do. When you're really busy, days are faster. They move like it's nobody's business. Before you know it, the week has gone. Before you know it, a month has gone. And yeah. It's worse if you have the deadlines. It's worse if you have like big goals. And then you feel like, oh, it's like I'm not going to get to my goal. It's like I'm not going to, like, it's like yesterday was Sunday. And today is Wednesday, right? So yeah. It's like they are revenging. Northern bypass, repairing, senga sente zabali kuba northern bypass tabadde bubi nnyo. Senga sente zabali northern bypass bakozese muto road. Ese muto road bali mu kuba n'ebiraka bye bakuba. Kati Jeko girabye valvematic gye tusembyeyo okuyitako eya white. You're my number one, gonna become my wife. Good morning, Lake Mose. Today talking about selfishness. What is which is which, what is what? And what should we be doing if you want to survive? What you should be. Obuntu kuno omusajja ono yabuzimbye bulungi. Obulaba yabuzimbye bulungi. Emmotoka yeetaaga okuvugwamuko. So, where am I getting this topic from? Because my topic is always. My topics come from somewhere. Why am I bringing up the topic of selflessness versus selfishness? So, you know how you guys normally come and mwagara to get deals. Mwagara okufuna deal ezokwo njagala ngule motoka nga ya busuubuzi, and I normally tell you guys ebiseera ebisinga deals zijja ku lunaku lwoze nti ozze gula motoka. Majority of the time that's what happens, and it so happens that I've been telling you guys, not just here, I think I've done a couple of TikTok videos where I tell these guys, you know what, teri broker, teri musuubuzi, teri makanika agenda kukubira ssimu kugamba nti owaayi jangu osuubule, tekiriyo. Bw'aba tasobola kusuubula ajja kugamba munne nti jangu osuubule kino. Bwe kinaagaana bajja kwegatta beewole babisuubule. That's what happens normally in the car spheres. One of the opportunities that you can get is that you're in the market already looking for a car, and then an opportunity strikes, and you're there at the right moment. And this is how we have so often been able to get cars at what seems like a bargain, like what seems like it's cheap. So so the past couple of days, because I know you guys are going to be looking for cars, I've been moving around trying to get cars that would be on offer, and if I get one that is on offer, I want to be able to share it here, so that if someone has a budget that falls within what I've gotten as I think it should be an offer, then they just get their money together and then buy. So that's what I've been trying to do. I've been contacting a number of brokers, telling them, okay, but majority of the cars that I actually find in the market, Mvundu. Okay, not majority, all of them, Mvundu. So yesterday someone calls me, who is a broker, and you know this is something I've been telling you, calls me at, was it 9 p.m. Nangamba waliwo wano benzi gye batunda nyini yajaga milioni 15 bichi naye wali wadde ogisaamu sente. And one thing I've known about this particular broker, tankubirangako ku ssimu nga nkubira okumpitira emmotoka ennungi, okitegeera. And in this particular case ankubiranga ngamba this Mercedes Benz is on UBH, it's like nungi nnyo omuntu simaya gikoze bichi, and he was telling me a bunch of stories, and yeah, and I used this opportunity to actually blast him. Nemugamba naye kakati gwe diro onompitirako ku motoka ennungi, emmotoka zonna zonkubira amasimu neŋŋenda ndabe ziba nvundu, which is a fact. The same broker has been calling me for a bunch of cars that have been rotten. Okitegeera nga mpitira emmotoka naye nga emmotoka zonna zampitira ki, nga zonna emmotoka zampitira nvundu. So and I've been kind of keeping quiet about it. In a way, I think when I do my videos, these guys actually get to see them. Bafunemu ku nsonyi. Some of these guys don't have ensonyi baziyita bata mu luzungu JK. Some of the guys tebalina nsonyi, okitegeera. Ojja genda okwesanga nti n'emmoroka babroka abo babroka bennyini abadde batwala abantu bange ku mmoroka envundu, okitegeera. So I've actually gotten to a point where bagamba banange nze Arthur kyenoonya nkimanyi, lwaki ompitira emmotoka envundu nomalira amafuta gange ngavuga enzije ndabe emmotoka envundu, okitegeera. I should not get to the point where I actually tell a broker, you know what, byenkebera mbimanyi, because yandibadde by now akimanyi nti byenkebera akola ki, nti byenkebera mbimanyi. But they still forget. How do you define the act of brokers only calling you for rotten cars, and whenever they get a good car they keep it to themselves? I define that as selfishness. And in a way, I was telling this broker, you know what, I have people that actually buy cars nga abantu abange bajja bwakugamba nti sente zino zennyina abazirina, okitegeera. So when you have good cars, we actually come and buy these cars from you. So why is it that tosobola kuyitirako Arthur motoka nungi, tosobola muyitirako moto shame? Thank you, Saith. Omuntu yandisanya abeeko ne shame. I find that selfish people, let me try to define, because you guys have refused to define. Selfishness is the act of only caring about yourself, right? Ngagwe, you don't care about anyone else. You don't care about what other people want to achieve. You don't care about what other people want to get. You don't care about what other people need. You only care about yourself. And selflessness is sometimes when you decide that, okay, I'm going to do this for another person and I don't expect anything in return, right? And I've come to realize that it seems like all brokers, all mechanics were born by the same person. And it's something, if you find a broker, you find their father, you find a mechanic, you find their father, you find their mentor, they are literally the same person. I have an example. I've been mentored by one of my mentors is a very selfish person. Very selfish. Now, before you get close to him, before you actually get to work with him closely, and before you get to work with this person with money related, with money involved, you cannot know that this guy is actually selfish. Before you actually get to a point where you're the one who is supposed to pay this person, you may never know that this person is actually selfish. But the moment you get to work with this person and you actually have to pay him, that's when you realize that, oh, this guy is actually selfish. Of course, now as you converse with people that work with people that are selfish, they'll keep talking about them. Gwengoroza anti bana abantu baba balimba. But now one of my mentors, he's a very good person, by the way. He's selfish, but in the other aspect, he's a very nice person. So one of my mentors, I am what I am partly because of him. Of course, I am what I am mostly because of me, but I am what I am partly because of him. And Omanyi, majority of the time when you want something, you actually have to chase it. So normally when I'm learning from people, like if I were to learn from someone, I would call him until I don't want to call him anymore, or until I've gotten what I want, because I want to tap on the wisdom that person has. Because it's important for us to realize that abantu abambaina, what do we call wisdom? Wisdom is not knowledge. Knowledge is gotten, wisdom is accumulated. Knowledge can be gotten in an instant. You can sit down and read a book of 1,000 pages and you get all the knowledge in that book. But wisdom is accumulated through experiences. Now, normally when we want to get mentors, we want to get people that are wiser than us, people that have been through what, because with knowledge you normally don't have to go through stuff, you can read. But with wisdom, you have experience, you have gone through stuff. And for me, I believe that wisdom is not inborn. Wisdom is accumulated over time. Like I'm wiser than some people when it comes to performing arts. I'm wiser than some people when it comes to marketing. I'm wiser than some people when it comes to the things I do, to cars. So when we want to get mentors, normally we want to get people that are wiser than us, right? Good morning, Chris Fitness. Nelson, good morning. Like the broadcast people. Like the broadcast says, yes, good morning. Kalibara Joseph, space your new model misi nesiente liwe singo kola ndi plamba, space your new model ejoku singira. Nenga ateka sienta kaina space urakuba space yawo gulatete kolera because mwembera na pipes ebisere ebisinga. Nenga sienta bojisanga ngumunze bensingira ku space. Kuba tebagisera ngati nga space. Okitegeera. I've given up on Uganda and most of them have that character. Good morning, Mr. Lucius. Yes. Seth Wandibo Mutufu. However, me, I've seen people that are actually not selfish. I've seen them. It's just that majority of the time when we find people that are not selfish, the people that are selfish are too cunning. They are too cunning. Okitegeera. Abantu abali selfish, ekisoka kye bayiga okuwana. They know how to flatter. One way you will see someone that is actually selfish is if they start flattering you. When people start praising you, when people start flattering you, that's one signal that you realize that that person is selfish. One way that I see that people are not selfish is if they don't praise me, if they don't flatter me. People that flatter you are selfish. That's one way. I ordered for some herbs from some known guy, gave him 1 million, was supposed to receive my goods in 3 days, but haven't received them till now. He can't pick my calls anymore. That happens, man. That happens. Bro, those guys only want from you. They will never ever do anything for the good of others. Steve Barros, good morning. Nelson, kakati, selfish people, a selfish person is not necessarily a bad person. He is a good person, but he's only a good person in instances where they benefit more. That's a selfish person. Watafuna takolirawo. I've given you an example of someone that one time told me nti for him taina chamanyi esebo taina chamanyi chayinza kukolera okuja kongoli mwana wa mama we. Now that statement, I've come to actually work with this person closer. I've come to work with this person, but I've always been very careful with him, because when he said that statement, he wasn't telling me, he was talking about someone else. How that person expected him to do him a favor, but he did not do him a favor because he was not his mother's child. Good morning, Council Patrick. Now, I've grown to start realizing that no muntu yenyine yogera statement here. People have been saying stuff about him, like ali selfish, yagaliza yeka, because basically being selfish kwekwe yagaliza weka. And we have seen this aspect even in leadership. Newesanga nti omukulembeze yagaliza yeka, which is not a very good thing, because omuntu buli yagaliza weka ofiriza n'abaana bo. You get? But we have seen this Obote. I think the one leader that we have gotten in this country that probably yagaliza kunsiye nasigaranga n'abaana bafunye munga bagadwa was Kabaka Mutesa. Let's just say that. He was indeed the first president of Uganda. You get? Until probably ebintu ebimbi yakola yabikola out of ignorance. Otegere bintu emu what byetusobola okumwaprehendingira phone tungawo kino wakikola because of this yalitamanyi. But the people that have actually done things when they know, like Dr. Milton Obote was a doctor, he was educated. Of course there are things that Milton Obote actually did for this country. Like I don't know how to this but they say Mulago Hospital, majority of what Mulago Hospital is Dr. Apollo Milton Obote, and we both know that Mulago should ideally be one of the best hospitals that we have in Uganda. But we also know that this country got to where it is now partly because of him, partly because he was selfish, partly because he was hungry for power, partly because he did not care about other people but himself. And it is happening. Yesterday I was mistakenly locked and the keys. I mistakenly locked the keys and my baby inside. Wow, sorry. I was panicking, and the thing we did was to crash the rear quarter glass. Is there a quick way to unlock the car without keys, just to help one? Steve Barros, I find that for me personally, the quickest way is to have a spare key at my office and a spare key at home. So if I lock my car, for example, and I'm at office, I have a key, or somewhere near office, I can run to office and get a key. If I lock my car accidentally outside somewhere else that is near home, I can rush home. Then the other thing you guys need to understand, majority of our cars can be opened by any key. Majority of our cars, Chigezese, the guys that are in Uganda, Chigezese, grab any person's key and try to open your car. Majority of our cars can be opened by any key. If it's not a car key, it would be a house key. But take a majority of our cars above Gimoroki and Kadi. Okuja kati nzenganzi na chusa, I changed locks because I knew that. That's why I have a spare key at office, I have a spare key at home. But majority of you guys nadana mabaguze Moroki and Kadi kozeko, it can be opened. But Steve Barros, one of the solutions is to have a spare key, probably with your madam, at home and at office. That's a solution. Then the other solution, if you have your kids in the car, don't lock the car. That should never be a mistake. There is a time Mama Aban locked these kids in the car. I was furious. How could you? And you know she was going to the canteen to buy them a soda. Like, how do you lock kids in the car because you're going to buy a soda? Like, it should be, you should never mistakenly, you should actually never leave your kids in the car for any reason. Bobo Furumaga, the kid is in the car, move out with the kid. Or if your kids are in the car, keep the windows down. Always keep the windows down. Mutesa didn't have authority. The Prime Minister was Obote and had no authority. But say there was a time before Obote, when Mutesa was there before Obote. most Toyota cars, once I tried 3 Primos and it checked out exactly Gaetano. So Kati, it's important that we understand that majority of these cars, you can literally open them with another key. Yeah, so we are talking selflessness versus selfishness. I find that majority of the time, like kids of our people we know, are suffering because their parents were selfish. And you realize that if you know anyone that was selfless at any one moment, someone that helped people at any one moment, their kids get the good things in return. A kid of a person that was good to other people walks into offices and they remember them and they say, oh, and they help them out. I want you to understand this. If you're a selfish person, abanda bote bagenda bayamba. Okujjako nga ababayamba babafunamu okusinga abaana bo. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. I know one selfish person. Kino ekintu ayinza obutakiraba right now. Bazadde be bali selfish. Akolera mu network z'abazadde be. Nene network z'akoleramu z'abantu abali selfish. Tebamuyamba nga tebamufunamu. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Tebamuyamba nga tebamufunamu. I also know someone whose parents have actually been selfless all their lives. It's not like they are really selfless, but they help people when they can without expecting anything in return. It's like doors are opening for them. Enzijizegura zokka. Things are happening for them because Basadebe, they planted the good seed. Brother, help me out. 2001 model versus 2006. Mr. Lucius, definitely the newer models are better. But you have to understand there are older models that were produced in the newer years. It's a 2001 model being produced in 2006. So you need to know the difference. Uganda is not developing because of selfishness. Exactly. Selfish people have their saying, abana bali kolezabwe. I saw that Lumumba Amin, the son of late Idi Amin, moving by foot at William Street. You can't believe he was once a first son. Ataba abana munangi na uba bonye rwabwe. Oyenzo obutamanya. Abatabona bebakolera government yene eriko. Abasaro to have their pride, to hold the pride of their father on their shoulders. Babonye. Okitegeera. Sometimes tugenda ne tulowooza nti tuli bagezi nnyo. Okitegeera. And by the way, nze broken yankubidde okungamba kibezi yesterday. I gave him a piece of my mind. Because tampitirangako mmotoka nnungi. Ebiseera ebisinga byonna benne mmotoka zampitira. Ojja inayo follow wayinza okwagala ogule mmotoka eno. Gwe wennyini oyinza ogye emmotoka ziba nvundu. I gave him a piece of my mind. Nemubuuza gwe nali nkufunyeemu ki, because it's important for us to understand. Olina okubaawo n'abantu n'omubuuza gwe nze nali nkufunyeemu ki, era bw'obeera mu bulamu bw'abantu nga gwe tebakufunangamu, you need to ask yourself, nze mbayamba ki kuba gwe obafunamu. Okitegeera. And then when I was telling him this, then he was pointing out, waliwo emmotoka gye mwajja ne mbafunira ya followawo gye yagula. Kati nekyo ne mugamba ekyo wali olina kukikola because wali okifunamu. You get, let's understand this. When you pay Arthur to get you a good car, he should never point out that he got you a good car or chirunji nyo yachikola, he was selfless. You paid Arthur to help you get a good car. It was a service he offered at a fee. That's something that he pledged to do. Njagala tukanye. This is the same thing that happened when nali nkola ne ba relative banganzi me nyumba yange. And then this dude was trying to make me feel like yali anyambi okumpa obudde bwe. And then I reminded him, but what you often sent every day? Like literally, yari asasura abakozi. In the beginning, I told you this thing. Nti omwami ono muntu mukulu. So I had planned. Omanyinga bonobera nogane yo muntu nampadde obudde bwe muweyo sente meka. And I was planning to give him 2 million shillings. Nze nali njagala nkwate million 2 ezawa munzi mwe mugamba omanyi webale kumbeerera. Do you know what happened? On the second day ku site yange nagandoza nange nesasule. anaiti ningamba omponyeza ne mugamba yes natandika okwesasula esatu ejja buli lunaku. And by the time otwamalira okuzimba yali yesasudde emitwalo 9 yafiirwa emiliyoni 1 n'emitwalo 10 lwakubeera greedy. Okitegeera, in the beginning ono omwami ali mu retirement. So ono omwami ali mu retirement nze nali mmanyi because n'okujja ku site yange nagulanga amafuta mu motoka ye nengula amafuta teyateekanga mu yajjanga buzzi. And I was planning because omwami ono bambi ambeereddewo ali very selfless talina kyansuubiramu njamuwayo emiliyoni mmeka twali tutogeddeko ne maama abba naye ono omwami tumuwe tujjamuwayo emiliyoni 2 nga feze tugenda omuwa because he's selfless because talina kyatusuubiramu n'atandika okwesasula. Era ennaku ze nali because wabawe ennaku wobeera nga oli mu kuzimba for example mwabazimbyeko sente ne zeekwata nomala ennaku nga ziizo nga tosasudde bantu era nga bala bwe baba banja naye ajja n'abanja. Okitegeera ne ngamba ono gaaya amponyeza. Era bwe twali tumalayo nga tumaze okuzimba yali asigadde amanjo bajali emitwalo 18 n'engenda n'enjimwa ne ngamba amponyeza. We have actually saved bwe yesasudde. Okitegeera. Talk about selfishness. Did you see the AGOA head lady Suzanne Muhwezi, how she reacted when she was asked the beneficiaries of AGOA beside the first family? Nza Chris Fitness ebintu bya Uganda. Because whenever you talk about the things that are happening in Uganda, they tell you drone zigenda kuno na drone zigenda kuno na washitegeera. I can tell you there is actually someone that was warning me from this channel. When nayogeranga kwebyo ebintu nga ngenda okuva ku broadcasting ampereza message. Sagala bakunone, these people are bad. Sagala bakunone. Every time. So you just need to understand it. Newe tuli wano ku broadcast waliwo abantu their agents ababakolera bo kye banoonya kiri kimu tebaagala aboogerako ku bibi bakoze. Kyebeerabira nti every time you're selfish, if you don't pay, your kids will pay. If your kids don't pay, your grandkids will pay. You guys have seen in a family ya Mukajanga abaana ba Mukajanga n'abazukulu bababoola because of something Mukajanga did so many years ago. Ochegera, you guys have heard that story. Nti family ya Mukajanga bajibola. Ochegera, let me tell you one thing. Buli wono sara ogobere selfish. Nze nga athanyinzo obutakubola essaawa eno. Naye nsobola okubola abaana bo. Nsobola okubola abazzukulu bo. Okitegeera nga gwe tokyaliwo nengamba naye kitammwe nedda kitammwe tiyalina mpisa nnungi nojja nonneeyogerezaako. You guys have seen tulina ebintu ebimu bye tuyitamwe n'ogenda ewa kojjaawo okuyamba akufunira omulimu n'atakufunira mulimu gwe n'olowooza kojjaawo wa mpisa mbi. Ebiseera ebimu oba osasulira bibi taatawo bye yakola oba taatawo oba maamawo bye yamukola. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. We all have family members abatatuyisizza bulungi. Ng'ebiseera ebimu tebatuyisa bulungi because they are being selfish. Ochitegeera, majority of the time when people treat us bad, they are not actually treating us bad because they are bad people, no. But we sabu because abayina kyanoonya okufuna nga gwe abatakifuna naawe tojja kufuna. Abantu abali mu government essaawa eno for example, all the things that are going on, enguudo ezitali nkole, amalwaliro agatali mu malagala, everything that is happening, it's happening because they are trying to accumulate wealth. Nabba sente z'eddagala agenda azimba apartment abaana be bagende mu masomero ag'ebbeeyi. Nabba sente asobola okugenda okugula emmoroka ya 0 mileage emiliyoni 15. Nabba sente asobole okumaliriza ennyumba emulemi okumaliriza ebbanga eryo lyonna n'agenda n'ayisa etteeka mu parliament asobola okubaako kyayisaawo, which is a very bad thing, and that's why our country is not developing. That's why Africa is not developing. Byonna byonna betwekwasa mbu abazungu be bacontrolling baani. Let me tell you, a selfless leader would not be controlled. A selfless leader would not be controlled because already, let me give you an example. Omuntu wabeera president asasula as a president for life. Asasula as a president for life. Katsimanyi nsonga lwaki president ababba. Omuntu wabeera chief justice asasula as a chief justice for life. Omuntu wabeera speaker wa parliament asasula as a speaker for life. Kati waliwo ebintu ebimu bye nnoonya nti bwe mbeera speaker ne bwe nyingira obwa speaker omwaka gumu bwe nfuna ekyalibadde kimbitraying sensi yange I resign, I will still be get paid as a speaker for life. Ontegera kye nkugamba, but these guys are too greedy. tebakyakweka nakweka. They are too selfish. Okitegeera. Okay. Obote too gave up on Uganda in his last year. As the country was basically being run by Oito Joke, and after his demise, a lesser-known, inexperienced upon attack was giving up selfishness on his side. Kwegamba ndozo olaba conceited. Do you realize that even giving up on a noble cause is being selfish? If, for example, I was doing something for let me say, I'm doing pre-purchase inspection for you guys, and along the way babroka ne banji kako ne baga ne dabi no byokola bya kigwagwa bichi cho tulemesa business bichi, and I decide to give up. Do you realize that I'm being too selfish for that? Because there's a higher cause. There was a higher cause for Obote to actually do something good for his country, and he gave up. And because he gave up, his kids are paying. I know people from the Obote family, and they are not well off. They still struggle like the rest of us. They should not be struggling because their great-grandfather was a president of this country. It doesn't. Whatever you have given up, resign, let someone take over. Okay, this person is actually responsible. Sometimes we need to be open. Tuleke kubera Nikokaziwe, good morning. I think we are selfless not because of our parents. We are selfless, it's because they didn't know how important it is to be open and friendly to other people in the world. Let me mute you for some time. Just 1 second. Yeah. So I think we are selfless not because our parents were selfless, but it's because they did not know how important it is to be open and friendly to other people in the world. Actually, I can tell you that Mr. Lucius, that selfish people can mean to be almost the most friendly people. We as humans, we are prone to being flattered. We are people can take advantage of us if they say the right things to us. Omuntu akuwana mukatono. Gwengo uguddeyo. Obote played Scrabble and down whiskies at Sheraton while Museveni and his cronies inched forward in Luwero. He didn't care anymore. Conceited. Obote was selfish. You realize that because of Obote's giving up, this country is suffering. This country suffered a war because of his giving up. That's if he gave up. I'm trying to take a version of the story, because according to what we know, he did not give up. He was being selfish either way. After even magistrates enjoy benefits for life. No, so if a magistrate, the fact that you're a magistrate, you enjoy benefits for life, why are you making innocent people suffer? No manyanti omuntu bamubyeko ettaka. No musiba omusango gwomanyi gwataakola because bakuwadde akakadde k'essente, because bakuwadde obukadde obubiri. You get what I'm saying? All that is selfishness. And we should learn to make these people pay and be open about it. Nti muganda we bwakuyisa obubi, mwana wa muganda we wajjewo nga ina kyayagala mugambe taata we yampisa bubi yankola kino na kino, and for that reason sigenda kuwa kino. Let us be open. I'm one of the people that is open even in my family. Nze tonkola kintu nenkisirikira because bwe tunagenda maaso nga tusirikira ebintu ebimu ku bantu byatwaye ensonga lwaki ono broker bwe yankubidde ekiro nga mpa kidiidu ekiri ridiculous ekya Mercedes Benz. Namuwadde a piece of my mind. I actually waited. Yankubidde n'abingamba bwe namugambe omanyi yankubidde nangamba Benz eno bagitne $15,000 namugamba wa musanvu. Nangamba naye naawe Arthur zine we nafune moroke za rais sijja kukubira. ne nafune moroke za rais sijja kukubira because kati govuruga vulizi moroka yaba no nze nyina milioni 4 kwa account lwakuba sigula benzi nchimanyi tazina milioni 4 kwa account tazirina. That's one thing I know. Na ye yeso mumanya ababroka bwe besoma aba yagala to seem like okay he's above ngaba kozeko na babroka mbamanyi okitegeera. What I knew is that he had put me on loudspeaker. So he had put me on loudspeaker. What he meant to do was push this guy down because abantu be yabadde akubira mwesimu bamanyi bonna. Push this person down. Nemala nemweda chikanga asatu nemukwira and I gave him a piece of my mind. Okitegeera right? This guy has been tubadde tulina ebiseera ebimu tugenda nga tunonye moroka z'abantu. He's one of the brokers that has been taking us around. Nabake moroka ja ebiseera ebimu mu abantu abajja okubakolera paper chase inspection we go to cars. Ebiseera ebimu n'ensirika busisi ne mugamba bugambe moroka eyo tugireke tugende tunonye moroka endala. Okitegeera naye mbasi kugambe backstory because ebintu ebimu mbyesonyiwa ne ngamba let me do what I was paid to do. Let me get this person a good car. Okitegeera but babroka abamwe batumalira obudde. And it happens by the way. Even their spouses are looked after by in case of death. Ndozo chiraba kati gwe bwobola banti you be in a position where never offer family yo bagirabirira paka naye nga gwe still ero uli oyagala okubeera corrupt. It's a very 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 bad thing. Aba abantu bebanyise ensi yaffe. That's why people like Joan Kagezi should be celebrated for life. She died for a noble cause. They shot her down for a noble cause. Now, I'm not saying people should decide to die. Right now we know that they can kill. That's why Chris Fitness obadde yogera ku bintu bya chichi. Ne kugamba why nze nyine n'abamponi nga buli ku broadcasting anyire ebyo bintu byenjogeddeko they send you a WhatsApp message ne bagamba why abasajja bajja kunona biveeke ebyo. Ositegeera. So I'm those statements even ku statement ezo nzogera because I want them to know that tubatya baina amaanyi tubatya. Ositegeera. It's not only selfishness, ego, pride and narcissism are big players to consider. Anti-conceited, someone can have an ego and still not be selfish. Someone can have an ego nga ego ye emuletera okubeera selfless. Do you realize that? Someone can have an ego nga ego ye emuletera okukola ekituufu. Okitegeera. Someone can have pride. Pride is not a bad thing. Conceited, we talked about it on this broadcast again. Pride is not a bad thing. Me, I'm a very proud person. My pride leads me to working very hard. I'm proud. Saagala kuyambibwa. Ngenda kukola nnyo nemekubeera mu position eyambibwa nayambibwa nnyo nga nkula. Bw'oba oyambibwa n'omuntu akuwadde nusu 10 aba wiranga yakuwa miliyoni 10 nga yakuwa nusu 10. Chovola baffe ng'abasajja tulina okukola ennyo tuleme kuteeka abaana baffe mu position za kuyambibwa. If you're going to have any sexual relations with someone, be very careful. Oleme kufuna sirimu akutta oleka abaana bo nga bato obase mu position eyambibwa. I don't know if I don't know if my parents had been alive or basali bonye, but in a way I believe that my parents died because of their recklessness. Bafu ne chiuka ne bafa ne baleka abaana baabwe. Of course zekati nze ni mama wange yanza aromu, so I can't see my mom yaleka abaana be ne babona kubanze sijja gamba nti nabona n'okubona even as half as my baliba abaana batata bange be babonye but tebasoma na kusoma. But why? Because their dad was reckless. Nafu ne chiuka ne kimujjawo nga bato. So ebyo nabena tulina okubimanya. As you're trying to get pleasures for yourself, tandika okulowooza ku baana bo bolina nti ogenda baleka otya. Buli bw'okwata emmotoka n'ogivuga recklessly ku Entebbe Express, lowooza ku baana bo ogenda okuleka nga bato. Bw'oba tonnazaala genda vuga by'oyagala, kola by'oyagala. Ne bw'ofa tolina mwana gogenda kuleka ku nsi kubonaabona. Tolina mwana gogenda kuleka ku nsi kusabiriza. But the moment you have children, you have a duty to them. So one of the things you're going to do that will make you selfless is you actually being a selfless person to them and to the society around. Toyisa bantu bubi, toyisa mu bantu maaso, tovuma bantu. Don't betray people because ababana bo balaba. Nze kati bakisenyi mu balaba. Those kids, they are going to benefit from either the good or the bad I do on earth. nti abantu, let me tell you one thing. Ebisere mu abantu benkoya pre-purchase inspection basimanyi nti banene n'obunene, they are big to the extent I find them. Okolera omuntu inspection muba munyumye nakuga, by the way I work in this organization ninga nene ngati ne position gyali mu nene. There is a time I hosted a get together for my OBs and OGs at my home, and one of the OGs yajanga, she was too modest. I realized that I'm State House, and not in a small place, in a big place. I realized that it's actually very good for you to be good to people, because try to introducing anagaba nkora State House nkora wano na wano ire kintu bwe kutawanyanga kiti bwe kiti nsobolo kuyambako okitegeera. Then the next day I went to my school, eririe miti yande magambe eriafa abanaku gitwasomera. Then there was someone else that still works in State House. Kati sigamba nti it's the biggest thing, but in Uganda tuchimanyi nti some of these connections are very helpful to us. Nti boyiso obubi abantu ebisere mu omwana wajja genda nga atadde application ye. That's why it's important for us to be very good people. N'abaana bamwe mbawa amanya gamwe. Why? Nze manyi Seth Kagaba wano. Senga nalaba application nga nyina wendi nga nsobola okuyisa mu omwana gwe bayita Kagaba. Nja mubuuza, is Kagaba your father? The moment she says Kagaba is my father, that will ring something, because Kagaba was good to me. Ontegera kyenkugamba. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So some of these things that we do, money is a short-term thing. Money comes and goes. Nze nyina abantu benda byenga bagagga. Nga mugagga muvundu. Nafa nga munaku. Obwavu ne bumwettira. So of course, now this broadcast, nchimanya abantu bangi bagiraba n'abamanyi. Okitegeera. Abamu bajja kugiyigamu. Essaawa eno okole miliyoni emu, okole miliyoni 2. Olumu ozikola musaawa busaawa n'olowooza nti otuuse tonnatuuka. We all know someone that actually had more money than you. Naye nga yakka olumu tagwa nti business ze zonoonesa. Sente olumu zigenda bugenzi n'otamanya na gye ziraze. Olumu abantu baavuwalanga ne asset bazirina naye nga tezikyavaamu sente nga bwe zaali zivaamu. Okitegeera. Kansome ku comment. Good morning, Omeja Moses. And it's only okay. Selfishness depends on different angles. Where is one standing and the reasons? Omeja Moses, there is no reason for selfishness. There is no reason for selfishness. I'm telling you. Katika Mbabuli, there are instances where I could have been selfish. For example, ngatukola pre-purchase inspection. There are times we get to a car. Omuntu agenda ogule moroke na agisima. Nga yali okay. Nga kyayagala kiri kimu athamugamba. It's a very good car. Nemuze bali nemugamba omanyi. Because at that time, it's money easy. Nti tuvuze tugenze ku motoka emu yagisimye nga kyenyino okolaga ngemoroka terina buzibu tagenda gifuna mu buzibu ye bwana aba kuvuga, because majority of the time when you guys come to me for pre-purchase inspection, you're looking for a car you can drive without it disturbing you. There are times that you would get a car nga nkimanyi tejja kusumbua nenga nze nyine ebintu byenda byego byotalabye nga nali badde kugamba you buy that car ugende nze saving amafuta gange saving obudde bwange tugende ovuge moroka yoge nange mvuge ngene nkole ebyange nenkugamba tojigula. Let's look for another car. Okitegeera, let's go look for another car. Just like that nenyingira debt too. Ku sentence ezimu nga togenda kunnyongera, and we get into debt too. That's not something. I could have been selfish. Now enough na choyagala, but I would be selfish. Gwe tojja kitegeera nti I'm being selfish, but I would be selfish. But I go an extra mile ningamba nayo omuntu ono emoroka ene yinza okutuuka nga atuusa oku upgrading emoroka nemusala sente nyingi gwe bwene kusala tojja kubimanya. I'll give you an example. Twagula emmotoka n'omuntu omu ku broadcast wano. Emoroka eyo nagenda nayo okugiraba, makanika gwe twakebera naye ku olwo yali busy, nengina nayo okugikebera ne tukomawo. Nemugamba omanye moroka eyo, don't pay for that car before I come back with the mechanic for us to make sure I worth the money. Moroka bali bagimuseera neye yali ayagala motoka at that time ngaawulira ngaabugumye ayina noba ne kakati broadcast agiraba, but I want to use this situation okubalaga what happened. Emoroka eyo twali tetunaddayo ne makanika kugikebera. Emoroka eyo yagigula mu Christmas last year. Emmoroka yali teri worth the money ze yagigula. Tuba tukyali ne makanika somewhere. Guy nankubira ngamba ngenze ku mmoroka mujje mu nsangeyo. Ne mugamba tuwemu eddakiika 4. We were doing something nga tukimaliriza. Mandi awo nangamba emmoroka ngisasudde. Nayomba nnyo namukubira n'ennyomba. Ne mugamba ukoze bubi. You don't do that. Eventually ne mu apologizing ne mugamba manyi nsonyiwa. It's your money, it's your car. Ochegera, he made a very wrong decision. Yansasula pre-purchase inspection fee na atalinda for me to actually tell him the right, because nze kunze emmoroka yali waggulumu, but because yaliko mukwano gwe yali amubugumya tugule he bought the car. Ekyo ne kigwa n'amalo gigula n'asigala nga akanika ne makanika gwe twakebera naye ku olwo. Normally this is what happens bwe musasula after pre-purchase inspection n'abalondera emmotoka. Njagala emmoroka eno njibalage nga number plate tumazo giyitako. Eyo turage tuwareg yefiiridde ku bbala nze njagadde njibalage muleme gamba saabalaga ate eri ku UBK yefiiridde ku kkubo. So mbanjagala manyumiza story eno nga mutunudde malemba ze ku bbala. Omwami ono bw'amala okugula prima eno yali mbi, obviously teyali nnungi, n'atandika nga akula ne makanika gwe namulaga, n'atuuka ndooza nga akooye primo ne bamufunira spatio old model. Owulira baba mfunira spatio old model ne bamugamba akole bata abawe prima abongere sente. It was a bad deal still, a very bad deal. Teyamanya because ne spatio gye yakolera mu bata yali mbi. How do I know that yali mbi? Recently we tried to nonya spatio. You remember I told you about a celebrity client I got? Spatio twagendako okugigula nga mbi nga ye nanyini yagibale million 10 amazima spatio nga million 7. I'm telling you, kati ye bwe baali bamukoza bata ne sente ze yayongerayo spatio bagibale million 10. Ontegeera ye n'alowooza akoze deal ennungi. Now one thing you guys don't understand, mechanics, brokers are never on your side. They are never on your side. Bobe kusa nange nze makanika lwanziba ne mmanya nti anzime n'enkirekerayo. Like when I was buying this engine, makanika yankuba nakimanya nti ankubye, but one thing I've learned in life is that buliwo kakana, good things actually happen to you. Okitegeera nti good things, agenda about example ya good things happening to you. Buliwo salawo n'ogamba let me do this wadde sifunamu kachigende. Okitegeera kati example ya gayo jemba wadde, first of all ya papa mugule mmotoka n'agula emmotoka embi in the first incident, n'addayo n'akola bata ne bamukuba. Okitegeera yazzeemu okukola bata ne bamukuba. Kuruno bwe yabadde addamu okukola bata ng'akola bata ya spatio namugambye obuzibu mubuuka kati mukwagala okusavinga emitwalo 4 aga pre-purchase inspection. Let me tell you, he has lost more than 6 million. He has lost more than 6 million. Mukwagala okubuuka emitwalo ameka 4 aga pre-purchase inspection. More than 6 million. Ate nga akyaluuzinga sente. Okitegeera akyakola ki? Akyaluuzinga sente. This is what I normally tell you. That's why I tell you, nze tosobola kubanga ogenda kola pre-purchase inspection nga siriwo ne kugamba genda okole ne gundi. Nze abantu bonna baddemu. Nga Sefi yagambye nti yava ku banna Uganda. Majority of Ugandans are very, very selfish. And it's not really their fault. Abantu abamu ya environment gyakuliddemu. Omuntu bw'aba akuze nga akuziddwa omuntu oba muzadde oba guardian we nga amukuzizza amulaga nti it's okay, osobola okubeera mu bantu olukwe kasitoba nga gwofuna sente, osobola okulya mu bali mwoli olukwe anti si mwana wa taatawo si mwana wa maamawo, kwegamba nga ye bakuze bakimulaga nti omuntu yekayeka gw'oliloyo tu ye muntu gw'ozaalibwa naye ate nga nabo babalyamu enkwe bwati bwagenda okuba. So our generation fe tutandika okukyuka olwaleero, we start changing today. Nosalawo n'ogamba nti olumu. Let me give you another example. Bukakana good things happen to you. You guys remember bwe twagula RAV4 y'omusajja w'essoro bwe twasanga mu bondi nga bamuguza RAV4 million 16 ne tumufuna RAV4 ya million 9 ngeri better than gye baali bamuguze 16. That very day I had another guy in the car nga yagala gula Mark $2,000. Bwetwatoka endaka wanaatwe yawulako n'agula Mark $2,000. Ne bamuguza Mark $2,000 baba ajimuguza ku $15,000. Nze navaawo nga nkimanyi nti nyini yagala $12,000. Bajimuguza $15,000. Yagigula na kiro saawa 3. Kati kolwe ekiro nampereza message nangamba nfunye mmotoka. Nemwa nentegira nenkubira abamuguze mmotoka ne bangamba ze bamuguziza neshi nengamba wai kasitachi yasazeewo. So ebisere mnali charging $3,500. He skipped $350,000 and he lost $3 million. Ontegeera kworo ya losing ezo million meka million 3. Enkeera ne muddiza sente ze. When namuwerereza sente ze nagamba ono guy Sam the pre-purchase inspection yafunye motoka, let me send him back his money. Era na inagamba zimpe. When nawerereza sente ze waliwo mobile money, mobile banking. Mobile banking wenyini when nakozesa okuwereza sente zo yo guy. Omwami we nampa sente, the equivalent of what I refunded to the other guy. Guy na refunding $3,000 mwemeka. Omwami awo wenyini wa mobile money nampa $3,500 aga pre-purchase inspection. Era omwami we yenyini tumi inspecting ida primo 2 days later. Olabye okukakana ebiseera ebimu nti omwami oyo yatula mu motoka yange n'omubuloke yamufunira emmotoka eyo Mark $2,000 simanyi sente ziyamulyako. Yatula mu motoka ne tumuvuga paka nakawa we yafuna emmotoka ffe twamutwalawo osegeera naye ne muddiza sente ze mbanna akazimuddiza nenfuna nsasula sente ze nnyini ze muddiza. So ebiseera ebimu short term gains zituziba amaaso ntandika okubeera selfish. Okitegera nti I think one of the reasons lwaki ono omwami yampa $3,500 yanniga was because I could actually refund money. Okitegera because nayogera ku simu n'oli omuntu ng'omwami oyo atudde awo because yampita n'engamba asa jangu tulabe ngali agadde ogula emmotoka naye jangu kwebuuzeko ebiseera ebyo naye sinatandika kusasuza consultation. Najja n'atuula kati at that moment nani nkubidde gayi eri nga tannakwata. Gayi bw'amala okutuula wano oli n'addamu n'ankuba mugamba mumanyi sakole the pre-purchase inspection kan kuddize sente zo sagala ogenda ogambe nasasula ate n'atakebera mmotoka. Okitegeera nangamba kale era oyo omwami wali wa mobile money ne muwe $3,500 n'agawa batabane because business ye nene ne banterako sente ku simu nenziweereza nenkubira gayi ne mbuza sente zo zifunye nti nzifunye kugira nanga kakati banjaragula primo new model nyina sente bwezi ne bweziti. Okitegeera nemugamba primo sobolo gifuna naye wonoba reddo jja kunkubira tugende tukebere mbanyi mukanveewo ngende gayi nangamba kwata inspection fee yiyo nampe $3,500. Osegeera for me that one thing I learned mwekyo nti greed is actually a very bad thing. Nti nebo inali nemedde sente zoli saaganako mukeberera yeye ya papa n'agula emmotoka. Samugamba namugamba by the way samugamba namugamba nti why moroka gye baguzize 15 yabadde ya 12. I did not tell it to him. Na yenze muli nkimanyi nti loss kati ebiseera ebimu nti tugenda tulowooza nti tuli bagezi naye nga tetuli. Sometimes some people will ignore you for a very long time. I'll tell you that the selfish politicians we have in this country think Ugandans are idiots. They think, oh, banankolachi. The same thing happened to ono guy, yani ono gwe basiba. There's this guy yatambule yakuba abaana b'amasomero bamuyitani. Yalowooza nti Ugandans are stupid. Yalowooza nti the entire country is stupid. The judiciary is stupid. The policemen are stupid. Bamulaba byakola tebalina kye bali. But even nebe nyini abamuwanga amaanyi agakola byakola benyini baatuka ne bamuvamu galaba akoze iki ayitiridde kambazze ku bbala. I can relate. One of my uncles, a young sosola, when I was growing up, today he's not a priority in my life. Not that I hate him, but just don't mind about him. Kituufu ate bana you guys mulekera okuwulira ensonyi temuddamu kuwulira ensonyi omuntu bwakuyisa obubi. Don't feel obligated to treat them nicely. Toli muganda wa Yesu omuntu bwakuyisa obubi. Don't feel obligated to be Jesus's brother. Nti wadde yampisa bubi nze nyina moko. You don't owe them goodness because they were not good to you. Okitegeera they were not good to you. Gwenze nja kukulubula sagala kajanja Morning Prose Bravo, Deep in Coffee saying I have got a lesson today, long live. Amina. Arthur, our kuvugo will be affects abalina abana. Atalina atubalirire. A person who is selfish is also greedy. The two go hand in hand. Exactly. Omuntu ali selfish aba too greedy. Tafa kubalala yefaako yeka. About the drone thing, do you remember the guy who posted Yoka on Twitter? Luli Rwebakulumba, Brian Mixolege works in State House. He even has photos of Yoka in his phone. Exactly, ndoza kadimbala katoyenze mbade simanyiti akolda State House. Ochegera. So people keep looking out on you, eh? Babeera wao kati alabika kwali ku live broadcast ajiraba kati waliwo guy ennaku zino ebeera nuwa mbantuke emaganjo eva mbantuke emaganjo ng'ayita wadda opposite simanyi kyakola naye eva mpa amata nampita Arthur okitegeera bane abatalaba nga Corolla Cross ejja ku 0 mileage eyo. That's the Corolla Cross ejja ku 0 mileage ya milioni za 10 oba 5 ba 17. Chris Fitness ndozo okitegeera. So normally when I keep quiet about some of those things, it's because I've actually been threatened before. Arthur, can I get a good Vista Adeo at 10 million? How are the spares putting in the new Vita in? Jeremy, by the way, Nina Vista Adeo je bampitidde. Era broker yajimpitidde. Ngayagala jinguza milioni mwenda. Nga ingini yayo mfu. Naye ebirala byonna birungi Jeremy, by the way. Ngebirala byonna birungi nze nga njagala ba milioni mukaaga nga kyembaza kiri kimu nti I buy the car because everything else is good. I buy that car at like 6 million and buy a new engine of 3 million. Wachegera. That's what I was planning. Naye actually made the million mwenda. But I was rakubana bade sina budde. I thought if I went with cash, he would actually give me that car. Nti at 10 million ero yinzo butafuna Vista Adeo nungi. Naye bwo bojifunya ku million nga 7 oba 8. Nokwate milioni 3 noteekamu engine kiyinza okukolera because engine omanya nti engine gwajetereddemu mpya okitegeera. Yeah, but there are chances that you can get a good Vista Adeo with the VVTi engine. Nyinza omukubirako ninda oba kikyaliwo ki Vista kyo ne tula oba tukidondola ebirala byonna byabadde birungi engine ne interior yabadde mpya body nga kale eriko scratches naye ngera bw'ogula engine era ojja kwesanga nti ojja kugenda spraying ku naye ng'ebirala byonna byabadde birungi kuba kale ennaku zino emmoloka ezimu seetagana makati kajindaga emmoloka envundu njiraba. I wanted to get a car this December but I've been held back till March. Can I send you my pre-purchase inspection fee this December? Then we'll get the car when I come back in March. Ngobo yangu ye safe. Akasente ko bwotuka ngo oketago. Manyi, one thing I've learned about life is money. Money is very powerful. Buli wawo omuntu sente zobolinga mu wadda amanyigo. Naye nze capital mwagala zimpe boba tezikumenya zimpa. Zimpe njira nzikola nzizazise. Manyi munange ebitala bitutadde naye waliwo wa traffic ayimiridde mu nyivu. Osooka muwa matala era nsose muwa matala mubuuzo waayo ebitala bintadde ngende. Nangamba genda. So safe if you boba sente ezo tezikumenya kikuyambako n'okusavinga the extra money. Zimpeereze njira nzizazisanze. Naye kati abampeeza pre-purchase inspection fee ngambe mba account number. Temuziteeka ku Airtel Money. Airtel Money is very expensive. Bobanga ddala oyagala kumpeeza pre-purchase inspection especially one next year bwe ngamba nkuweereza account number kw'oba oziteeka. Chris Fitness, as we are trying to be selfless, we should support people who want to take advantage of us, exploiting and manipulating us just because we are selfless. Some people just want to use us because of exactly Chris Fitness. Exactly. And most manipulators are actually selfish. Abantu abasinga to manipulating because of our selflessness are the selfless people. Namagambye ewamu osookera okulaba omuntu ali selfish. Bw'omuntu kasita atandika ng'okkuwa nanga bw'oli omuntu omulungi nga bw'omukoledde ebirungi manya this broker. I will give you an example. Yawanyenze nga maze omukonfrontinga mbwate simanya luli wanyambako nenkola kiro byemoroka yange yali edemeddewo ekiki n'onfunira omuntu agigula kale yagigula layisi naye yagitwala okitegeera gwe kasitola omuntu ng'atandise okuwaana nze omuntu whenever someone actually starts flattering me that's a red flag era buli muntu yali anflatterinzeeko I have a wall between me and them nze you'll never hear me praising people you'll never hear me praising people. You never hear me flattering people because flattery is a manipulation technique. Era ne wogena no soma katabo ka 48 laws of power for the people that are like me, people that feel like me. Flattery is one of those tricks that people use to get power over you. They flatter you. They flatter you to get power over you. So whenever you see someone flattering you, ngomanya oshitera atoba ne baba mama umama ukasata ndiko kuwana wana manya ina kyayagala atera kyaba yagale saawe yo gwe kibate kikuyamba kiyamba yeka. So and it doesn't mean that you're, like I've said, selfish people are not necessarily bad. Selfish people are just selfish, and sometimes selfishness can be for a moment. Omundu asobola okwerabira at that moment nafuka selfish. It doesn't make them a bad person. Chovola bankugament ne bwaba mama ne bwaba tatawo nze ne bwaba jjajja wange alina lwagire ekintu tenda kati jjajja ina kyabala okitegeera nga flatteringa ng'olira da flattery ewedde emirimu. You'll never catch me flattering someone. You'll never catch me praising someone because I know it's a technique used for manipulation. Okitegeera yagala basiibula bannange. Childhood trauma can either make you or break you. You either learn to heal from the trauma or watch it decimate your life. True. Nega rife mu Africa ebyo trauma tetubimanyi. We are traumatized every day. Kati wano mu Uganda omuntu ali traumatized every day. Nyinza n'okuba nvuga wano nesembere moroka n'omuntu najjayo pisto gomanyi trauma gyekole gyereeteeyo. So kati in Uganda it's very hard for us to heal from the trauma. Stories on the news amawulire bulina kugatraumatizing consistent. That's why I really want Dr. Ranga to come to the podcast. What is not a podcast. Dr. Ranga is going to come, and probably some of you guys that have never used psychiatrists, this will be your chance to actually start using psychiatrists. Tutandika kuhiringa. Chitaka owa border 20 exactly. Chitata. Mwe mwali mumanyi nti chitata ayinza n'okusibwa. Chitata yayogeranga n'olowooza jeno mu magye. Ninga talinayo yadde ne Ranga. Arthur, for real, thanks for today's broadcast. Amina wasa. Yuko Nicholas. Arthur, sometimes kubeera kusima. Nicholas, flattery n'okusima byanjawulo. Okusima kuba simple as neyanzizza nnyo olwaleero kyonkoledde. Flattery can be a combination of things. Flattery gw'omuntu kasita omulaba nga akisussizza. Okusiima kwa njawulo ku flattery. Simanyi nangeri gye nnyinza bawulira flattery. Example ya flattery bwe nagireeta nyinza okuba ngenda gireete attacking omuntu omwawulire nga ali attacked, because I have people that watch my broadcast that actually flatter me. Nga babadde tebakimanyi nti nkimanyi they are flattering me. Ng'ebiseera ebimu they flatter me, try to manipulate me ne bitakola. Ne batamanya nti nze tebinkozeeko. Ontegeera. So waswa I mean no juko. Flattery and gratitude are different. That's why for you guys that have actually waliwo abantu abampadde ebintu, there are people that send me money, like Musomesa Samuel Sise sent me money for the radio. Musomesa yajja by the way na China netana ebintu ewange. You have never seen me say, oh Musomesa omugaggo wakabi wakabi wange. You've never. Flattery goes in that direction. Bwe mwebaza Musomesa webale nnyo, and for that you thank someone for what they have done for you in particular. Togattako bigambo. Flattery, omuntu akuflattering nga ye muntu agattako ebigambo. Ontegeera kye nkugamba jjukwe. How much is the Primo engine? Engine ya Primo teri mu million nga 3 olowooza. satu chitundu. Ismail is saying, I've learned a lot today. Thanks a lot, boss. Amina. So selfishness and selflessness are things we should learn to distinguish. But I think that we need to get a balance. Don't be totally selfless. Don't be totally selfish. Have a balance. Because a balance of selfishness and selflessness gets you what you also want. I have a balance of selfishness to the extent that bonkubire sawe eno ngomuza kubye modoka kubateri kintu kyogenda kumbuza ku moroka ze Kampala nga sikyogerangako ku broadcast. So I charge you money for that. I'm a percentage selfish. Ochitegera. And I'm selfless to the level that kastompereza consultation fee yange I can even call you netwogera for 1 hour. Ontegera. That way I'm selfless. Nkugamba buli kyoyagala okumanya ne botakola nange pre-purchase inspection. But I'm selfish enough to know that people used to call me, consult me, ne bagenda ne bakola pre-purchase inspection n'abantu abalala. Nze nga mmalidde dakiika zange 10 airtime wange omuliro gwange. I'm a very busy man. Ate nnaku zino ndi busy nnyo bannange mwe bagayi nze simanyi n'olunaku lugenda serumanyi. Okitegeera. Part of the reason I'm busy is because of this broadcast. Broadcast eno temulaba nti mwe neeba yamaze ate nyamba nnyo. Because in the comments, mwabantu ababera mu comment, I realize you guys are too focused with life. Katoyinza kubeera ku broadcast eno n'olemwa kubeera focused. Era buli lunaku bweva ku broadcast nga gwe tokyuse oba oliko ekikyamu. Because mu comment wano wokka okotandika okulaba there are people that are actually doing better than you nga ate bali humble n'okukusinga. Ate kati mwe muyinza oba muli eyo naye nze mbalaba ne mu inbox yange. Omuntu n'akutextinga n'ogamba ono gayi yantextinze. Munaga nkuweerezaayo ekizike ogira olya n'ogamba ono gayi yampe kati eki kyasiima. Okitegeera naye nga asiimye naye nga gwe ate olaba ebintu by'oyogera bya bulijjo. Flattering is like over kusudia and kusuutiriza. We call it sudiyama. Sisomedde kisoma ekyo Chris Fitness. Thank you, but thank you for helping these people understand. Gratitude is different, Juko, from flattering. Bananga abantu baflatteringa. Abantu baflatteringa President Museveni. You guys need to see people flatter that guy. He's not a bad person. He has done good things. Naye waliwo ekisuka. Ngorabira ddala bagayi baagala kumulyamu buli. Okitegeera? Nga baagala kumulyamu buli. Those are things we never saw with President Obama. There are things we never see with Bill Clinton. There are things we never saw with Trump. Bamugamba byakoze byokka byatakoze ne babimugamba nabyo. But there are people that flatter bannange. Nze I've never been the kind of person that flatters people. I don't like it. Ekisooka when you flatter someone, you have to justify the flattery. Kitegeeza buli wonoba buli oyina okusigala nga omuflatteringa for a very long time. Okitegeera, I still have to run my errands. So ngenda basiibula bagayi bange. Naye nze mbagambe one of the signs of someone that is selfish bwe kasita flatteringa nga mwina kye mukolera awamu n'atandika okukuwaaniriza. Nga tolina ky'omukoledde at that moment, ebiseera ebisinga kijja tolina ky'omukoledde at that moment, n'atandika okukuwaana. Nali njogera simanya naani, ne mugamba ebintu by'onkoledde ebirungi. Such people are bad. Bad nze nkubuulira. Ng'omuntu kasita atandika okugamba ne luli nali ne gundi ng'ali mu kukumbuuzaako ne mugamba nga bw'oli omuntu omulungi, simanya wankolera ki, nali wampa simanya biki, nali sisuubira nti oyinza okukikola, muntu kyagikola ekyo. Todaba nti oli muntu mulungi nnyo. I would actually prefer someone that tells me, Arthur, you are a very bad person. Oli muntu mubi nnyo teweetaaga na kusemberera, to a person that tells me, Arthur gwaki asinza okuba omuntu omulungi. Okitegeera? Because omuntu akugamba nti oli muntu mubi, majority of the time aba akugamba mazima. Omuntu akuflatteringa n'akugamba nga bw'oli owakabi, embeera zo nga bwe ziri ennungi ennyo, nga bwe wayamba simanyaani naani, ng'abantu bonna bwe baali badde bakusiima, aba akusudiya. That's one thing that you guys have to learn today. How are you, big bro? I would like to know, feel the 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive, which one is good? You don't need 4-wheel drive in Uganda. So you should not even be comparing 2-wheel drive to 4-wheel drive. All-wheel drive Subaru. There is no reason for you to buy a 4-wheel drive car. 2-wheel drive is okay in Uganda. And I drive a 2-wheel drive car. You just have to learn how to drive your car. Good morning, Hanaba. Amina webale kubeera Ismail Mutachala. I've learned a lot. Amina kamba soma manya banange bagayimba sibule. Banange, one thing that I want you to learn, olwaleero, brokers, mechanics are one of the selfishest people you'll ever meet. Ekyo njagadde nnyo mukitegeere, because bwe sikibagamba temujja kukimanya. Nyina abafollower bange abakoze loss through deals they do with someone that I worked with. Nagende wa broker gwe twakola naye nalowooza nti olwo oyo broker yamwa ogenda okubalabala mu deal gye bamukozesa nga yakola loss ey'amaanyi. Like, you guys want to do better, but I've told you time and again, better is the worst decision you can ever make. But you guys, after we buy our first car, the best thing you always do is do better. Like, why don't you tell Arthur emoroka yange gye twagula lulingi tunda? You guys know when you buy a car with me, you can sell it more expensively than how you bought it. Over the worst case scenario, bobo losing a million. The worst case, you can lose 2 million. Bobo papa. Okitegera lwaki bwotuuka okutunda emmoroka gye twagula, because nze emmoroka gy'ogula nange mba nkimanyi emmoroka nnungi. Why don't you text me nongamba ate emmoroka eyo njagala gyajjako because I want to get another car? Call me and tell me, why do you go and do better? With better you'll always lose money. Ekyo nkibagamba. Kati bafollower bange bangi bakoze loss because of that. Okitegera ate oyo broker oyo gwe nabadde njogera naye eggulu, ezo loss ezimu abantu bano ze bakoze yabadde azibakozesa. Kati mbadde ngambi balanga simugamba, yesterday bwe yabadde ampa kidiiru ekyekisimu byonna ne mbimugamba, ne muganda yo nina n'ebintu by'okozesa abantu bange, diiru z'obakozesa ekigwagwa golowooza nze okusirika ndi musiru. Okitegeera naye ng'abala buno obusente obw'okumpi. Okitegeera nze abamu abakola diiru naye sibagamba nabbagamba nti mukoze loss, nkikulekera because wambuuka n'ogamba kangene nkole n'olirwa ensavinga no saving emitwalo 4 n'okola loss ya miliyoni 4. Ekyo temutera kukimanya. Anyway, tukole pre-purchase inspection byonna bye tukola. Always know who a selfish person is. By the way, ne flattering njogedde because guy ono bwe namaze omugamba na flatteringa, he flattered me to the extreme. Okitegeera, but I know what flattery is. Okitegeera, but anyway, even natubireke. Learn who a selfish person is, learn who a selfless person is. Ate nawe ngomu, don't be only selfless, don't be only selfish, learn to balance the two. Okitegeera, because when you learn to balance the two, ofunamu n'abalala ne bafunamu. Nebo noberanga selfless. Me, I used to be totally selfless, by the way, and it never benefited me. Nagenda okulaba nze si progressing ambulamu. Abantu bajja ne bakufunamu ne bagenda because you're only selfless. Bakufunamu ne bagenda, bakufunamu ne bagenda, bakufunamu ne bagenda. Gwe to advancing ambulamu tokulaakulana gwe ng'omuntu. Semus Wilbur, thank you for being here. Africa Carota Gaitano badde obuze nnyo naye we bali kubeerawo. Mutumba Pade we bali kubeerawo. JK Deep in Coffee, Shagaf Salmin, Ronald Nimpamya, Matovu Jude, Bukenya Abi, Tusime Eddie, Hashim, Lucky Mose, Chris Fitness, Wabuyi Nelson, Derek Lule, Saith Kagaba na wobadde obuze nnyo, Kalibara Joseph, Mr. Lucius na wobadde obuze nnyo naye bali kubeerawo. Steve Barros kyekiriwo maani, Council Patrick Asiku, by the way, Council Patrick Asiku baloya mumanyi okubeera very selfish. Kwegamba omuntu ali mbuzibu, omuntu abeera mbuzibu azo omuyambeko ku musango naawe n'omubba baloya sigamye nti gwe, but I'm saying law as a profession. Omuntu ali mbuzibu bamubbako ettaka naawe n'okozesa akalulu okujjukujju naawe n'omubba even more. Kwegamba agenda okumaliza court case nga yavuwadde okusinga bwe yali badde. Yet lawyers should be people that help people. That's the reason why people actually don't go to lawyers. Like when my cousin bwe bamusiba wano yali avuga lole n'avuga entenzi nga talina musango. Yensonga lwaki families tezaagala genda ku lawyer. Ne baganya na mukwano gwange lawyer because he's my friend era yatuyamba eventually. Ne bagamba nedda ffe tulina omuntu waffe ow'amagye. You know the extent to which people are scared of lawyers, that will bafuna ekizibalo woleza mu godfather. No song ate lawyer yaribadde is the first go-to person. Nze nyina, I have lawyer friends. Ntinze nkubira, for example, Council Patrick, nkubira nenkwebuuzaako, bomala okungamba, bwe mmala okukiyitamu nenkuweereza ekizike. Nga tokinsabye because I know it's your profession. Naye munnange Council, simanyi kye mugenda kukolera profession yammwe. Okitegeera? People edda abasajja abaalikanga ebyobugagga byabwe ne lawyer, nga lawyer yabeera ne will. Naye kati abantu batya n'okulekera ba lawyer will. Kubanga akimanyi lawyer ajja kuiduzaabuza abeeko byabba. Banange, kamba soma amanya ngene, I run errands, I have a class to run at 9. Ategula abantu batuuse late, so they missed class yesterday, part of class yesterday, so they has to be action packed. I still have fatigue. Edwin Mugerwa nawo badde obuze nnyo maani. Conceited webale kutuuka kuba conceited sijjukira nti obadde obeerako nnyo ku broadcast. Obadde toba compezi. Obadde nammwe abali mu Kamoli, I don't ignore. Don't forget, I do pre-purchase inspection. When you're going to buy a car, I'm the guy that comes to help you make the right decision. Buy the right car. Ababoda bagudde mu bampa yange yema bigenda bikira wikati njagala gula bampa. Antonio simanyi oba kuoli. Naye kati mpulira njagala gula bampa yema bigebe empya. Eri mufiira mungi kati bagikonye. Bw'oba oli wano ng'okolamu otunda spare ng'osobola okumpa ddiiru, it's the time to come to my inbox. Bw'onompa ddiiru nga mpulira ddala ddiiru nja nakukulangayo olunaku. Isaac Luyirika kansubira oli steady nnyo. Omeja James, Moses Heath, Karemire Gordon, Muwanga Badru, Prose Bravo, Deep in Coffee, Jeremy ngenda kubira ono omusajja nanyini kino kivisitor adeyo kyabadde kyayingi nefu. Of course, Jeremy kiyingi ni kiri okiraba kifuna yo kivuga, so bwoba osobodde omukkakanya nakuguze moroke yo kulayisa osobola ogivuga for some time nga bw'onoonya sente za engine. Tola ebiseera ebimu engine enfu si kyekibi ekisembayo, oba okyasobola ogivuga nga bweri paka bw'ofuna sente ezigigula. Solo Extra, good morning. Waswa Nicholas, good morning. Juko Nicholas, good morning. Ismail Mutachala, good morning. Hanaba Joshua, good morning. Walter Reya I Apuri, good morning. Mavoga Jet Center, good morning. Chairman Zach, boss flattering kwe kuwujja obunyama. Oba sometimes English confuses me. Kweko kuwujja bunyama. Oyagala omuliro gujire oba oyagala kulya. By the way, Chairman Zach, omuntu awujja obunyama aba ayagala kulya. Naye abakuwujizaako n'olowooza gwe gwayamba kukumba awujja bunyama bwe kukola ki? Kulya. Thanks Arthur for the lecture. I was in class today. I learnt a lot. Amina Edwin Mugerwa. Naye nga bagayi bange ekintu kiri kimu kye nandyagadde ffe tweyigirize ng'abantu. Ebiseera ebimu balance selfishness and selflessness. Balance nga selfishness. Kati eno broadcast is like a burst out for me because I find that tekiri ku babroka na bamakanika bokka. Kiri ku family zaffe, kiri ku mirimu gye tukolera, kiri mu politics owa Uganda. Okitegeera, kiri buli wamu, kiri mu relationship zaffe. Nti osobola obeera n'omukazi, osobola obeera n'omusajja ng'abala bibye n'akuflattering to the extent gwe n'olowooza oli wakabi nnyo, kumbe the chick is flattering you, the guy is flattering you, ayagala kukufunamu kyakufunamu. Olwaleero tuwige, nange ndi mu kuyiga, by the way I'm learning. Ate kye mbamanya nti ebiseera ebisinga the selfish people bafiirwa abantu abalungi because they are selfish. Because once a person that wishes you well realizes that gwe tomuwishinga birungi byakuwishinga, bwana agenda ajja kgenda lumu. Okitegeera? So anyway, that's today's broadcast. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning 7:15 a.m. kansubire muyize nganze bwenjize because nze njize. Sometimes ebintu ebimu byenjogera it's me reflecting on my own situations. Sometimes it's something I've had somewhere, but majority of the time, like I say, ebintu byenjogerako it's my experience. So sagala muntu ajja agambe wabisoma wa proof eriwa wakola research wa setaga research. This is my experience nzenga Arthur, these are things I've had nzenga Arthur. So sijja kuleta kitabo ngambe nti this is published experience, this has been published by this doctor or this professor. This is my experience, and I'm glad that you guys have actually learned something from this broadcast. May God bless you today. I'll see you tomorrow. Ciao.